Reviews team, assemble! Brontosaur, Triceracolin, Pachycephalotheusus! Yes indeed, 3 of your handsomest and hairiest reviewers are jumping the shark all at once to bring you BotCon 2010 Sharkticon. Ho ho ho! So this guy came as a Gleason threesome in an army builder pack to flesh out the Decepticon ranks in last year's G2 Me-Do theme.
These guys come with 3 different bio cards, which is nice, but then the bios describe them as being built for different environments, despite the figures being exactly the same. Just make them all land, sea, and air sharks. Then give them individual names if you want to distinguish them. Air Shark is the teacher's pet. Only air sharks get to fly with their leader Skybite. Ooh, want to be fancy. Sea Shark is the loser who sits in the back carving Ozzy into his desk. His bio literally says sea sharks terrorize whales and schools of sardines. What's left to do after you've been beaten by sea spray? Land sharks spend all of their time destroying roads in London, which brings us to the tiny Doctor Who homage. The personalities of the Sharkticons are obviously based on Daleks. They speak in staccato, just like them, which is evident by their quotes. Consume!
Destroy!
We must feed!
Destroy!
So, who ordered the leg warmers? No, I must focus. I'm supposed to be reviewing him as a fully torsal Sharkticonius apparition. And what a torso it is, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm sure you hear that every day. He's actually always had a very solidly designed robot mode, and it's centred around this quite fantastic chest plate. The Energon chip thing in the middle is a really good focal point. It looks like, I don't know, a reactor or something. And it's nice to see that they've broken it up and picked out the vents and plates and these little red details of whatever the hell they are, I don't know. He looks armoured, and he looks intricate and interesting, like it's actually transformed more than it really has. I did have a problem with mine where the waist wouldn't lock into the bottom of the body, but that seems to have gone away since I shaved down a tiny fleck of plastic off it.
What about the little fish face noggin then? Looks pretty mean and sleek with a sort of fishish stormtrooper helmet. I love the peaked forehead like some kind of blade-headed dinosaur accountant. His mouth like gives him a henchman-like anonymous feel. He's got these big apologetic eyes with light piping so bloody he can probably smell himself a mile away.
The Sharkticon mold's arms have that weird disproportionate thing going on that a lot of Unicron Trilogy figures had, but they're not nearly as bad as the likes of Cybertron Breakdown. They look like they missed the race to be the proper length by a hair or two, so it's not bad, and completely ignorable. They totally make up for it with these nasty shark fin forearm blades that look like they could slap chop an Autobot into a pot of dark energon soup. His fisties have some nice detail on them that make his fingers look like teeth, and the angular shoulder pads help announce his presence. The legs have some nice detail too, but only on the sides. From the front, they're kind of boring. He's got another pair of those shark fin blades to make up for that as well. One knee to the groin and it's game over, man. The feet are nice and big, so there's no problem standing a Sharkticon up, which is good, because he's back heavy.
Speaking of which...
Is it Colin's turn now? I think so.
Tolerance of kibble is a funny old thing. I really should hate this, seeing as 2/3 of the alt mode just flipped over and sat on his back. But I'm a bit of a fan with robots who look like they have capes on, like Scourge from the Generations line. And I can't dislike it. It's not entirely objective, because this is just a big slab of kibble. The gun turrets are all facing the wrong way, unless he's trying to stop people from stabbing him in the back. It is quite shameless. But, on the other hand, it doesn't cause him to overbalance. I've never had this figure fall over because of his backpack. And it does have a trick up its lack of sleeve. The back kibble splits and rotates and forms 2 jock-off great big hip-mounted cannons. Little problem with these, very, very hair trigger. You'll trigger them every time you transform the bastard. You'll shoot all sorts of things without meaning to.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
Shot.
So yeah, the back kibble, not actually all that bad. It serves more of a purpose than initially it seemed to.
I expect you'd like to know about Energon Sharkticon. This fairly uninteresting goon came out in 2004, and there's basically no difference between him and that guy except for the colours. This one just looks way more badass, and while the colours are more varied, they're sort of way less interesting somehow. They just seem to gloss over a lot of the detail, including his face, in a big way. But this guy's got quality on his side, with much healthier joints and way better plastic than that pasty little dweeb.
When compared to their master Skybite, the Sharkticons are a bit drab, but it is fitting since he's their general, and they're just mindless soldiers. The Botcon Sharkticons come with the standard Energon Sharkticon mold head, while Skybite here received a new one, but at the price of having no light piping. I know. Calm down, you. These guys also feel lighter than their glorious master. Skybite has some heft to him that his Sharkticons are lacking.
On the left we have Sharkticon, and on the right we have Sharpedge. Our Sharked comparison gets pretty interesting at this point, because although this one turns into an actual shark, this one looks like a lot more of a real robot. Sharpedge just looks like he tore a shark into chunks and decided to wear it for a bit. Little bit American Psycho there. Sharkticon also wins for the simple reason that Sharpedge's head and tail are parts that you have to take off to transform him. So, top marks to Sharkticon. He may not turn into an actual shark, but he looks better doing both modes, and his transformation's superior. Speaking of which...
Show me the way to go home. I'm tired, I don't wanna go to bed. I had a little drink about an hour ago, and it went straight to my head. Show me the way to go home. I'm tired, I don't wanna go to
The Sharkticon alt mode is a thing. It could be either a boat or a spaceship. It's wicked and awesome, whatever it is. There's so many guns everywhere. Apparently it was designed to resemble the Nemesis, the legendary Decepticon warship, but not even on a bright day, with perfect vision and no distractions, would I be able to see that homage. It looks like a submarine pretending to be a shark. Well, except for the back here. That's just blatant robot kibble. Nope. You. Boats have fists.
So this is the badass triple threat battle mode with the blatant weak points. This is pretty hardcore, man, assuming you can prize it out without firing the flipping torpedoes. I mean, look at it, where are your thumbs gonna be? But if you can pull it off without ruining your life, you've got a mean-looking, all-guns, all-the-time battle mode.
Well, the colour scheme is horrible, there's no doubting that. In fact, it's totally vile. But, unlike nearly every other iteration of the Energon Sharkticon mould, the colour scheme here hangs together well. It actually makes the mould look a lot more together and a lot more focused. The problem is that Energon Sharkticon as a mould has always been let down by his colour scheme. He's always been half of one and half of another.
Next to the old guy, he's just loads less scary. I mean, look at this guy, all black and mean and with the bladed fins. This fella's just a much more squishy and lovable shark boy.
Yes, he may look disgusting, but at least it's a Sharkticonious kind of disgusting. This is Beast Wars Neo's Sharpedge, an actual fake shark rather than a fake shark. He's got a lovely pearlescent finish to him. The plastic itself has got a bit of a shimmer. And after looking closely at Sharkticon, there's a very faint thing here which is exactly the same. He does look quite like one of the Seacons, in fact, and that's a good thing.
Again, compared to Skybite, the Sharkticons look a bit drab, but not quite as much. The lavender at the front end with the enormous Decepticon symbol emblazoned here makes him pop in this mode. Good on you, Sharky. You show your pride.
The colour scheme works. They've used this, which, being slightly colourblind, I'm actually unable to identify, but is probably turquoise. They've used it to pick out all these details. The gun barrels, the conning tower, the fins, these little bits of mechanical stuff on the side, the other fins, and the entire front end. It just looks nice. It draws your eyes to all the important parts of the figure. So it's a well done scheme, even if it is just gross. It is, in fact, the horrible sum of more than its horrible parts.
He also suffers from a bit of naff plastic on the fins. Looks like he's got some kind of degenerative fin disease, which I understand is easy enough to fix with a bit of hot water, but I kind of like that it gives him sort of an vibe. Little known fact, if you give him a quick rub on the Decepticon logo there, he falls asleep.
I like him. I like it. It's not so bad. It'll do. It's fine.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.
Farewell and adieu, you fair Spanish ladies.
Farewell.